Hello, I am here today with my client Sarah Breyer. Sarah is a job search strategist who helps people who are mid to senior level to get jobs when they're finding it tricky to get back into work. So, Sarah and I worked together on her list building, including creating a new lead magnet and all the emails that follow it. So, this conversation is just to chat a little bit about the work that we did and how Sarah is now getting sales from her email list, which is, of course, what everybody wants. So, Sarah, do you want to kick off and just explain a little bit about where your list was at before we started working together and why we decided that you needed a new lead magnet?
Well, I decided that I needed a new lead magnet because I'd done everything DIY. So I'd kind of got a bit of a product, put things together, got the freebie stuff and all of that and tried to build the things myself, but it just felt like hard work, like it's not my job.
Mhm.
And then obviously we've got a mutual connection that introduced me to you. I'd gone onto your uh, annual Spark
Yep,
and
membership.
and then spoke to you about like the lead magnet, and we spoke about like how it could be better. And I think because of the spark, it really gave me like confidence that like you knew what you were talking about. Do you know what I mean? Not just like
Mhm.
you've got this kind of free advice that we just like sling out there. And we had a good chat about it, and it was like actually like I've got a good product. I'm not a marketing person. I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
And it was time to invest in that
Mhm.
and get a proper grown up to have a look at it, Kelly. It was you this time. Get a proper grown up to have a look at it and to put like professionalize it. I think like a lot of us we cope because we're like scrimping for money or and then when you're like you're earning you're earning good money and then you're like, right, okay, we've got to start doing things properly.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah. So that's
And I
why.
remember when we kicked off and you would send things to me. So first of all, we came up with the idea for your new lead magnet after we'd looked at what you'd already got, and tried to do, that next level in terms of the quality of that and the creativity behind it. But I remember through the whole process working together, you were loving it, sending me things. You're like, Kelly, I'm so glad you're there. I'm so glad I've got this proper grown up to send stuff to, and you're just doing it because I was supporting you with the copywriting and we got your web designer involved to build the pages and so on. So I think, in fact, because people should know that you are very busy and you are oftentimes back to back with clients all day long. So to find time and headspace to sit down and look strategically at your list building and what you wanted to do and then create something new, it was just a bridge too far, wasn't it? So I think
Yeah.
that's
And
where
the
hiring
way
the
that
professional came in.
And the thing that you really brought to the table was the what. What the bloody hell is it? And because it's like, you read these like, the free things online, which are all great, but it's not related to you. And we talked about what that lead magnet should be. And I've never even thought about that. It's like your lead mag should be 10 tips to blah de blah or, whatever. And the way that you understood my business and understood like what this group of people might need, like you took time to like, I don't know how much research you've done or, what you know about job seekers, like because you're not one, you run your own business,
Mhm.
but just that taking the time and being like, actually, it's not a list of 10 tips. It's not a CV template. Like, that's not good enough. It has to be something deeper. And that's where
Yeah.
the case files came from. It was real stories, real examples that people can connect to that then they can see themselves in that. It wasn't just like, oh, I make bracelets. Here's 10 tips to have a fancy bracelet or whatever.
Yeah.
This is about people's lives.
Yes, and that's a great point. So we did a lot of work into your ideal client at the start, which you are really switched on with your ideal client because you are talking to them all day and you have lots of clients. So
Mm.
for me to get up to speed with your business and what people are actually interested in terms of the right people that are then going to pay you money to come and help them find a job, is we had to get really clever with the freebie because, like you say, a PDF guide or a list of 10 tips or a CV template just doesn't cut it. There are so many of those out there already. You can just Google that stuff. So, what we came up with from looking at your ideal client was, well, there is a lot of risk for people who've been out of work for a while And so for them to come and invest some money with you and their time, of course, and their hopes and dreams and helping them to get that next career, takes trust, a lot of trust. So by creating the case files, which for people watching this, we look back at some of your amazing success stories and then package them up in almost like a secret kind of spy document was the creative angle we went down, where people could read about how folks had gone from maybe being unemployed for as long as a year to then landing that 200K salary and what you did with those people. So to package up those examples and put that behind the gate was there's the lead magnet meant you were attracting people that would be inspired, but also were aspiring to having that outcome.
And the other thing that I really valued was that I could give you some real raw data. So I'd Kelly builds us, or at the time built a Slack channel
Mhm.
for me to just dump this information in. And like at the time, I thought, oh God, like I'm just throwing this information. But when you're dealing with somebody who knows what they're doing, it's like that you took like these the bits of information that you were like, right, just give me your voice. And I just gave you like LinkedIn posts that I'd
Mhm.
written. And you then managed to turn like the kind of my voice into this, into the emails that we sent, into the case files, so that you, I didn't feel like I had to work really hard, which was the
Good.
thing I was worried about because I didn't have the brain space for it. So I just
Mhm.
gave you this kind of raw data and was just like, here, blur. And then like the way that you just like put those things together, and that's the thing when you're working with an expert in their area, is that it's that's what you pay for. You pay for the speed. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure that I could have cobbled something. It might have taken me about 5 years to cobble something together, but even the idea part at the beginning, bringing all of those things together, like I'd never had anybody sign up for my emails really. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. They signed up because it was an event I was running or something, and then it was kind of just cobbled together. But like I've had like over 100 people sign up for this email list, and I've not tried that hard, if I'm honest. Like I've not been like email, email,
Mhm.
like I've just kind of peppered it here and there, and people have signed up. People have talked about the case files. They say, I read through your all your case files, and I'm like, really? And like I feel really proud of it. It's not just like this kind of 10 tips nonsense. Like I feel proud of what we created. Well,
Yeah, and that's important because the amount of people I speak to who have a 10 tips PDF and they're almost a bit embarrassed of it, so they don't promote it. And then, of course, no one joins the list anyway. So to have something that you could put your name on it and put out there and say, these are my clients, this is the work I do, come and get it and give me your email address to see it, that you need to feel excited by that, by sharing it. And I think around finding your voice, so you have a very distinctive character and personality online. So you show up brilliantly on LinkedIn. But as a copywriter, I was really excited to get that raw data from you and all of those LinkedIn posts and put in as many Sarah-isms into your emails and even the opt-in page for the freebie as possible because we're of course in this age of AI now where there is lots of AI copy slop out there and we didn't want any of that. So I took your voice and wrote it into the emails that I knew would work to get engagement. And just talk a little bit about the replies as well, because you said people would never reply to your emails and now you seem to get quite a few, so your inbox is quite busy. Is that right?
yeah, so it's just, the stuff from the Spark as well, like,
Hmm.
the emails that I send that I feel I can prepare for. Am I allowed to talk about the Spark?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh,
That's my
good.
email membership for anyone watching.
So, like, the Spark is fantastic because it gives me the confidence to write good emails that, like, I don't, like the formula of it that is going to create a good email. While it's got humanity in there, it's got my voice in there all at the same time, which is fantastic. Plus, the ones that were written for the case files means that people reply to me. And
Good.
I said to Kelly before we recorded, like, sometimes I open my inbox and I'm like, oh my God, there's like 10 emails I need to deal with. I mean, but really, it makes me feel really happy because there was a very long time before, this has only been going a few months.
Mm.
A look, forever before this, that nobody ever replied to my emails,
Yeah. So you're just
ever.
shouting into the void.
Yeah, and it's like now people are because it's got the right mechanisms about it, the right, the right warmth that people believe that they almost believe that I've handwritten this email to them, I guess,
Yeah.
when because it's like they feel like they're having a conversation with me. It doesn't feel like they're on a list,
Yes,
which,
exactly.
which is wild, really, because if you get an email from Asda or whatever, you're on the list,
Yeah.
but they just feel like that's the way it is. And I suppose in a personal business that I run, I'm not selling a product or whatever,
Mhm.
that that's what you want. That's what I wanted. I wanted people
Yes.
to feel like they're talking to me.
That's the gold standard of email marketing and something that you can't get with generic AI templates. So to have that trust and that conversation in the inbox where it feels like a one-to-one communication rather than a one-to-many, even though it is, you're sending out hundreds of
Yeah.
emails, but to the person receiving it, it sounds like Sarah sent me an email and it sounds like Sarah because
Mhm.
it is you and it's bringing your tone of voice through. So that's absolutely crucial in terms of moving people along the buyer's journey from just downloading a free thing to then becoming a customer. And you've had some sales, so talk a little bit about people coming in to work with you that have joined the list and so on, because you sell your live sprint where you help job seekers get interviewed and get jobs, and then you have a self-paced version of that service as well, right?
Yeah, so you're just having a look. There are 6 people in the last, and bearing in mind, this is not being pumped out all the time either. That there are 6 sales I can pretty much like attribute to those case files.
That's great.
Even if it's not a case of like I saw the case file, I bought immediately, but what it's added to is their trust in me.
Hmm.
And when you're working in something that is personal, that you're not selling a packaged product like toothbrush or whatever, is that those people need to trust you. And the voice within that, the emails that go with it, the consistent pattern of those things, the emails that I send them twice a week, like all of this stuff that you've helped me create has sort of solidified, like, I guess, my online presence,
Hmm.
perhaps, and the trust, because people then, even my email open rates are crackers now. Thank you very much. Crackers in a good way.
Hmm.
They're brilliant because the things that I've learned from you about subject titles,
Hmm.
and therefore I actually teach my clients when they're emailing prospective hiring managers, right? The kind of like the creating curiosity and like not just I'm applying for this job, like just some of those lessons that are like from a business perspective that you can put into your own emails that you're sending to get traction too. So,
Yeah, I love
there's
that.
so much stuff I've learned from you
Mhm.
that, that I'm able to kind of share with other people to help them. But also just email open rates, click-through rates, which also you've taught me, Kelly, that like getting replies then tells your email provider this is a trusted person.
Yeah.
Therefore, your emails they won't end up in spam, they'll get delivered, which is all stuff that the average me just doesn't know. We just don't
You
know.
do now.
I
So
do now, exactly.
and you're
Get
doing
your
it. And
replies.
just for people watching this, you have a decent following on LinkedIn, and that's where you're most active. Of course, your ideal client is on LinkedIn, but having this growing email list where you've already seen some sales coming through and you're seeing the replies and the clicks and the opens. So what does that do for the confidence of the future of your business? Because LinkedIn can be a bit fickle. Like let's say you sometimes you posts don't get seen. So, what does it mean for your business to have this asset of an email list going forwards?
It makes me feel more confident that I've heard about, people getting their social media shut down and all of that stuff. And I always wondered, like, I don't know what I would do, like how I would cope, you know. And what's happening now is that with all the things that you've taught me, with the case files, with all of these other avenues, is that, it would be catastrophic and we don't want it to happen, please, LinkedIn gods. But at the same time, is that there is a something else that I can lean on,
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
even to a point where, like I'm cleaning off really old subscribers that probably shouldn't be there anymore because I'm like, it's okay because, there'll be more coming in. I don't, when you feel a bit precious that you're like, oh, I don't want to kick them off because I've got like 12 subscribers or something, even though it's just like my parents and like my sister and stuff, because I've got subscribers, it's given me the confidence to be like, look, I just need to get rid of those 80 people because they've not opened, they're not buying, they're not doing anything. Let's just ship them off.
Yeah, because you've got the great lead magnet, the great carrot on a stick to dangle in front of your ideal clients that gets them onto the list now, which is better than that dusty old PDF guide that you were trying to
Yes.
flog before.
Exactly.
So well done. You did a lot of work in getting all of this created and getting it live. So my final question is just one around recommending me. So what would you say if somebody was thinking about working with me on things like marketing strategy and messaging and the email marketing piece?
One of the most important things for me is to not feel dumb. And I think sometimes you can be around people that it's so steeped in science or whatever that it makes you feel inadequate, right? And the thing that I really love about working with you is just that you take time to understand someone's business. The person that recommended you said exactly the same. She's got a weird business that no one
Yeah, it's weird.
understands. And you take time to understand it so that your advice isn't generic.
Mm.
Like it doesn't feel generic. It doesn't have like, oh, like if I saw her stuff or somebody else's, I'd be like, oh, that's your method. Like it feels very, I know there's a method behind all of this stuff, the structure and stuff, but it feels like this thing is built for your business because that's how it's going to work the best.
Yeah.
Just even the not like availability, like you're available 24/7, but there are mechanics there that I can put stuff in 20 whenever I want, and you will pick it up when you're ready and you'll get on with it. You know what I mean? That I don't have to kind of, it's in a central place and
Yeah.
I can pick it up when I'm ready, you pick it up when you're ready, and the speed of getting things done was really great. I didn't feel like it was like but in the other hand, actually it was really good for my own accountability to like, right, I'm waiting for you, come on, stop
Yeah.
messing around, get on with it. And helped me get through it faster when sometimes you procrastinate a bit,
Yeah,
so
of course. Because
I
you're
love
busy
it.
doing the day job. You're busy
Yeah.
serving clients or trying to get new clients. So something like list building is obviously just gets knocked down the list. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about the collaborativeness. So that was a way that I love to work with clients where you send me stuff, then I'm chasing you for things and we get it done in a sprint basically, which is the best way to do this because otherwise there's always something you could find that's more important in your eyes than actually doing the email marketing thing. So well done, Sarah, for getting it done and getting it live and growing the list and making some sales. Congratulations. And people can go and find you on LinkedIn. So you're at Sarah Breyer and tell them your website address as well. And I can link to it. Where can they find you online?
sarahbriar.co.uk, as simple as that.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Sarah. And may your future of email marketing be very bright.
It will. Thank you.
Thank you.